Jacksonville, Florida sheriff, his name is Daryl Daniels, has vowed to put down any protesters who cause any trouble. And what he has put out in honestly the form of a campaign video, because he needs to get reelected, is this proposal to deputize civilians with guns. Take a look.
In this day and time, God is raising up men and women, just like the folks you see standing behind me, who will have strong backbones and will stand in the gap between lawlessness and the good citizenry that we're sworn to protect and serve. So you can threat all you want. You can say, hey, let's go to Clay County, or let's go to some other peaceful county where their problems don't exist, or not so much like across this country, where relationships are great and not strained, and where the people support their sheriff and support the men and women who wear the uniform. And you'll have something waiting on you that you don't want. Yes, we'll protect your constitutional rights as long as you remain under the umbrella of peaceful protest or peaceful march. But the second that you step out from up under the protection of the Constitution, we'll be waiting on you. And we'll give you everything you want. All the publicity, all the pain, all the glamour and glory for all that 5 minutes will give you. And if we can't handle you, you know what I'll do? I'll exercise the power and authority as the sheriff, and I'll make special deputies of every lawful gun owner in this county. And I'll deputize them for this one purpose, to stand in the gap between lawlessness and civility.
So I think it's important to note that he is facing his own investigation because of a relationship that he had. So he had an affair with a fellow officer who he worked with at the Jacksonville Sheriff's Office. And so there's an investigation into that. But he's also seeking re-election, and that's part of the reason why local politicians who are upset with this video say he is puffing up his chest and trying to make himself out to be this tough guy. But in a state like Florida, he's really playing with fire here, and he's encouraging vigilantes, armed civilians to carry out whatever their version of justice is. He's being opposed by 6 people for the sheriff's position. And then one final thing I want to mention, Cenk, is that local politicians in the area in Clay County are actually really angry and frustrated by this video, because there actually was not much attention to the area when it came to protesters. And now all of a sudden protesters are like, maybe we should go to Clay County. Maybe it's time to protest there. At least that's what the local politicians are alleging. So Florida.
And other law enforcement officials are saying this is actually anti-police, because it's saying the police can't handle their jobs. And so they're gonna have to bring in rando vigilantes. And they're like, remember, we're supposed to be good at this because we got training and we're professionals. And now this sheriff is saying, oh no, any rando off the street can do it as long as he's got a gun. So do we really have to pay the police that much if that's true? And so a lot of folks are pissed about that. And the sexual harassment case that you mentioned, Anna, was already terrible enough. It's actually a little bit worse than you said. The allegations are that he then tried to investigate her after the affair. So yeah. It's just atrocious, right? So apparently that's the kind of guy this guy is. So he reminds me, of course, of Sheriff David Clark. There's a couple of guys in the country. So Sheriff David Clark also wears the same stupid cowboy hat like they're actual sheriffs out of a Western. Look, guys, you're not in Texas. Clark is in Milwaukee, and this guy's in Clay County, Florida, right? So they think they're in a movie, and they're like, oh yeah, didn't you get 5 minutes of pain? Oh, I'm so tough. I have a gun, a badge, and you don't have any of those things, and I probably will get away with it if I murder you because the law is totally rigged in favor of cops. I'm so tough. Nah, that doesn't really prove that you're tough, and certainly the getup doesn't either. And then of course, we come to Clay County. Was there like a giant uprising in Clay County that we were unaware of? This reminds me of when Oklahoma passed the law against Sharia law. They're like, oh, the Muslims are not gonna take over here. Correct, they're not, because they're not even there. Okay, so like they invent these ghosts because they just are so dying to fight the windmills that they're like, charge at windmills that don't exist. People were not going to a rando suburb of Jacksonville to protest in such force that 18 deputies couldn't handle it and you had to bring in vigilantes. No, it's a figment of your imagination. And obviously for the right wingers, when you've got a black guy who's in law enforcement talking the way that they do, they're like, yes. A black guy saying he's gonna kick other black people's asses in order to protect us and serve us and give us more power. There's nothing they love more than that.
Thanks for watching The Young Turks, really appreciate it. Another way to show support is through YouTube memberships. You'll get to interact with us more. There's live chat emojis, badges. You've got emojis of me, Anna, John, JR. So those are super fun. But you also get playback of our exclusive member-only shows and specials right after they air. So all of that, all you gotta do is click that join button right underneath the video. Thank you.